Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. I think you can now hear me. Yeah, that's better. Sorry about that. As I pulled my microphone towards me here on its arm, the cable popped out the back. So that's what made the microphone disconnect. But here we are. I am not expecting many people to come this evening. There's lots of football going on. Hello, Jim. I hope you're all right. But yes, in the UK tonight there is a lot of football going on, so I think everyone's watching that. I am also have it on another screen, but I'm not that. I really wanted to get some painting done, so if I don't do it tonight and skip it to do something else, then I'll run out of days in the week to get the painting done. My stream will not show up on the screen for some reason. I know I'm live, and I can see Jim said hello in the chat, so I know from that point of view we're all good. But for the life of me, I cannot see the stream popping up. Anyway, I might try and let's close this tab down. Let's try a new tab. Good old Chrome just not wanting to play ball. On Twitch I can see it's fine. Yeah. Maybe I'll just watch the stream on there. That's better. Lady Geezer, hello mate. Yes, so the plan tonight is I'm not painting the leftover moonstones. I've moved the moonstone figures to one side, and tonight we're going to be painting this. So I have had this in my collection for quite a long time. This is a Mourngul from Games Workshop, and yeah, I've never gotten around to painting it. I've been wanting to do it, and yes, let's crack on with it. I'm going to try something a bit different though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the airbrush out in a second, and all this underside that's all very dark, I'm actually going to spray it all white. Hey, standing in line for early voting. Crikey, that's all kicked off. Oh god, good luck, buddy. Yes, so this is from the in case people don't know, Games Workshop have a sort of boutique range called Forge World. And in their Forge World range, they have like very sort of high-end models, I'm guessing they would call it. And this is probably one of the cheapest of those high-end models. It is still a fairly expensive model for something like this. But yeah, you can see it's quite an imposing monster. And I thought given it's Halloween, it'd be pretty cool to paint this up. And it is sort of on top of a horse that it's absolutely gutted whilst it's prancing up over it. So the plan's going to be, I'm going to spray the underside a really bright white, and I'm going to use some colours, and I haven't decided yet what. Probably something like this Hex Wraith, or even this Tesseract Glow or something, to give it an ethereal kind of glow from underneath, and then paint it for real on top. It's almost like it's entering into our realm, and I don't know how it's going to work, but we're going to give it a go, because otherwise this model is going to sit in my collection and never be painted. By the way, let me know if the music's too loud or anything like that. And if you hear me whoop, it's because Liverpool scored, which they are very close to doing. No, they still didn't score. Okay, never mind. Right, so yeah, I'm actually going to give this model a quick brush down, because it's been sat on my shelf quite some time. I imagine it's quite dusty, so I'm going to just give it a bit of a brush. Well, that's quite cool to have cobwebs on your Halloween miniature. Probably not so great when you try and paint it. But yeah, I hope everyone else is alright, apart from Jim, who's standing in line waiting to vote. Hopefully a nice sunny day over there, mate. Yeah, so we're going to grab a white primer. So we're going to grab this stuff. This is Stynal Res from Badger, a white primer. I like this. This stuff goes on really nicely, and it goes through an airbrush super easy as well. So I'm going to put a cloth down so I don't spray all over my Lovely new mat. Don't mind spraying over this. But yeah, so previously I'd planned to use contrast like I normally do. So that's where I'd normally do a zenith. So this is zenith highlighted at the moment. This won't be very good if I want to do a really glowy underbelly, as it were. It being black is not going to help me. So I need to respray the whole model with a nice white bright undercoat. We did just have our budget. Old red suitcase. But yeah, so I'm going to just try and get this on camera for you, but I might have to move the model about a bit. So as you can see, all this black underside, I'm going to really hide. I might still leave it quite tainted from above, so I'm not going to spray downwards. I'm almost going to do a reverse zenith, really. I'm going to have it lighter from underneath and darker from the top. I'm going to try and keep the model sort of facing, quite awkward to do, but I will show you this. Once I get the paint down, I'll show you. Sorry, this isn't very entertaining for you guys at the moment because you can't actually see what the hell I'm doing, but I'm just essentially trying to hit all the darkened areas with I'll know fairly quickly if I think this is going to work, because the next stage is going to be getting out the green, really, and giving it a go. Right. Yeah, am I happy? I'm fairly happy, I think. Okay. All I've really done there is taken the white and just hit it from underneath, so all the dark shadows have gone. I'm gonna dump all this paint out of the airbrush now. Should have grabbed some tissues. Maybe overjudged how much paint I'd need. Brighton, I got a free kick. Shall we see what happens, folks? Let's see if I'm happy or disappointed. Thank God for that. Liverpool, get rid of it. Yes. So. Sorry, it's taking forever for me to dump this paint out of my airbrush. I could just dump it onto a cloth or something. Let me do that. Let me grab this cloth here and dump it out. Yeah, hope everyone else is okay. There's another good Thursday. No, good Wednesday, sorry. I'm forgetting what day of the week it is. cleaning fluid in there should sort that out. Cool, that's done. Brilliant. Right. So now we're going to sort of pick our glow colour. I've got a few options for glow colour. I want to go with the brightest, really. I'm going to give these three a shake. I think Tesseract Glow might work, but it needs a proper good old shake up. So I'm going to just grab my little spinner thing here. Focus that camera for you. If I pop this here, you can see miniature at least. Yeah, so I think that's going to be the colour, but I think that might actually be the highlight, although it is a technical, I don't know how it'll work, but I might start off with a sort of a wraith, this wraith flame, and then maybe go with that. It's like an colour up from it, basically. I don't just want to do one colour, so I can almost do that as the highlight to this through the airbrush. So we'll give it a go. Like I say, this is all experimentation, so I don't know how this is going to turn out, but put my cloth down again so I don't spray my table. Really, I need one of those fancy little waterfall spray booths, but that's not going to happen. Now the nice thing about contrast paint is you can put it straight into an airbrush, already nicely thinned and all the rest of it. Right, so we're going to again go from the underneath, all right? Yeah, it's hard to know, but I'm kind of just winging it at this point. So I'm trying to get it so that from underneath it's going to be more glowy, and then from the top you're not going to see so much of the glow. And from the top down I'm then going to paint it like a normal miniature. I'm not sold yet, but then we've really only just started, so I'd be surprised if I was sold yet. Honestly, I think that might be enough. Yeah. Yeah, okay, we're gonna stop. There so I can kind of get a view of it. Right, is this camera zoomed out enough? Right, that's it. That's better. Yeah, so it looks pretty terrible at the moment, but what I'm trying to do is capture all the underside in the green. And then when you're looking at the miniature from this way up, you'll still get the green, but it'll be mixed in with the rest of it as well. It's hard to explain. Probably doing a terrible job of explaining it, but that's what I'm trying to achieve. I'm going to have a bit more paint because I want to do the other arm. This arm that's in camera now, coverage. Come back in, do more on this arm. Okay, getting more of it now, so I don't know if it's me or if it's just very quiet, but if it's very quiet, that's fine. I think it's just very quiet. I always get paranoid that chat's not working or something, but I think we're good. It's just, as suspected, was going to be a quiet stream. Actually, I think there's also some big names streaming tonight. So, Mort, hello, mate. We're finally putting paint down on this Forge World Mourngul that we're going to give a go of trying to do something interesting with. Right, so next up, now that we need to just give that a moment to dry, and then I'm going to try and highlight it again with this Tesseract Glow to just try and give the green a bit more oomph. And then we're going to resort to normal painting. So from the top down, we're going to do this in probably like some blacks and some browns and highlights and get the mouth and do all the piece where it's ripping the horse apart. But I want it to look like from underneath it's ghostly lit, so it's almost like yeah, but we'll see. It's an experiment. Worst case is I can strip the model and do it again, right? So there's no real negatives, and it's not had paint on it for probably 4 years. Anything's progress. Exactly. We're trying to do. We've been doing Moonstone for God knows how long, and now just for a little break, we're going to do this. Something a little bit different. This is where you need glow in the dark paint. You're right. Glow in the dark paint would be pretty cool. But, I mean, this Tesseract Glow is pretty glow in the dark. I don't know if it does actually glow. I don't think it does, but I'm not going to go crazy because I kind of want to see how it looks. Actually not bad. It's actually quite nice. I don't think you'll be able to see it on the camera because it's quite subtle. But it's just another color variation, so that's quite nice. Not all uniform in color. In the eyes, I definitely want to, let's see if I can do a little drop of this. Across the face like that. Color scheme would actually work really cool for a Hulk. I'm not painting the Hulk, but if I was painting the Hulk, this would be a really cool way to paint the Hulk. Because these two greens go really nice together. I think that's it. I'm not going to do any more than that right now. I'm kind of happy with that. So you will be able to see it just about. Like you can see the changes in the green. So again, from underneath, very sort of like that, and then from the top, we're going to start to paint in the rest. So, let's do that. If you don't know which one's darker, Black Templar or Black Legion, I've got a feeling that Black Legion is a bit more grey black. I'm okay with a fairly decent brush here. Nice. I did, mate. I did see his latest video. I've commented on it and said it's pretty awesome. This might be a bit too black. But actually, I don't actually mind. The black might work really well. So let's find out. Bit black, very black. I'm going to try and concentrate just on the top of the model. Okay, because we can always highlight this up of it. Doesn't matter if I decide that it's just too black. I can be fairly messy with it as well. It's Starship Troopers fan. No choice. I'm American. Service guarantees. This is maybe the part I didn't think through, is how do I avoid very harsh lines between the ghostly bit and the non-ghostly bit. That's going to need some thinking about that I haven't quite given thought to. I'm going to go with this for now until brain has contemplated. what I want to do. I definitely want more of the face to be in this realm, so I'm gonna go over it a bit. This part of the arm is definitely entering into this realm. Top of the hand ripped apart this horse. I think we'll have the basics of it fairly quickly, and then I just need to think about how I bring it all together. Might be a case of just hitting it with the airbrush. Try and maybe that works a little bit as well by just almost dry brushing it in a little bit. You end up with spots of it. Maybe that might help as well. But I think what we have to do is come back and forth with this color and green and highlight up in between. But I'm in that awkward stage where you think, oh god, this has gone terribly. Give it a moment to grow on me. Definitely need to catch this area here with the green and some of the lines. Because it's just a bit too harsh. I can give that a minute to just kind of dry, because if I go trying to do anything special here, like I'm thinking about dry brushing, especially to bring the face back, I can definitely do some dry brushing. But if I do anything at the moment, it'll be far too wet. I'm just going to give it a minute to dry. And I think we go back in with this. Actually, no, potentially with dry brush. And then we go back in with the green, so I can highlight up the dry brush. One thing we can do, we can paint the horse. Do that. Put brown for the horse. I can be quite liberal here. Not having any finesse here. I've got a big old fat brush, just getting a base layer of paint down. That's what I want to do, so I'm not even going to fuss about the hooves or anything. I'm going to come back and do all of that. Right. Still a mess at the moment. Still a mess, but we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. I have faith. I have faith in the process. Not seem like it, but I have faith. So I'm just trying to dry brush a bunch of areas where the line is a bit sharp between green and the black, and then use the hopefully the green to blend it back in again with any luck. Then I'm going to just revert back to normal painting and try and paint what I want. Switching over to Twitch, no worries, Jim. It's an interesting shape, that is for sure. No, we did in the end more. It kind of took that idea, kind of died on the vine, as it were. So definitely something I'd like to do in the future, though. Or just make it over to one of your, dragon meats or something like that in the future. Basically, more. I've been talking about wanting to be in one of your games for so blooming long. I just need to work it out. So. I'm not saying Eureka, we've cracked it, but it's looking a lot better than what it was 5 minutes ago. I'm not a big fan of this arm, but certainly looking a bit more scary now. Yeah, this is I'm starting to like it a bit more now. Okay, cool. So I'm going to back off now. Less is more, and I can always come back. So if I try and get it face on, I want it to look like it's kind of like it is in and out of sort of the ethereal world. So it's got that kind of ghostly glow to it. At the same time, I'm going to paint the claws in as if they are actually not going to pass through you. They're going to rip you to pieces. The teeth and all that sort of stuff, and obviously all the rest of it. So, but to be honest, the miniature side of it is kind of looking what I was kind of going for. So I'm not it was not looking good when I first started this. I must admit, when I started doing the black and stuff, I wasn't happy. But even the back's starting to look pretty pretty on it. So yeah. Right. Let's try and get into normal things now. Let's paint normal stuff. I wish I had a holder for this, but this is far too big to put a holder in. Oh, I think Liverpool just scored. I missed that, but never mind. So yeah, so for instance, the claws, I'm actually going to paint those. I want them to be proper menacing, you know, dripping with blood claws. Now I could leave a little bit of the claw in the green. Need some more of this. I want it to look like it actually, you know, did indeed rip this horse to pieces. Make a pretty good monster to have in your horror-based RPG. This is a pretty cool miniature, really. Lee, yeah. I mean, I'll definitely, I will, as we kind of get round it. I definitely don't want to touch the model at the moment because it is very wet. So. Yeah, some real yellow might work. Some actually like just bits and pieces here and there. So we might look at some yellow, mate. That is definitely not off the cards. And obviously in a minute I shall be getting out the old blood for the blood god paint and just chucking blood everywhere, because this poor little horsey in it big time. Whilst I'm doing these claws nice and bright white at the moment, obviously I'll make sure that I turn them into bone, and then they will get absolutely baked in blood. catches many rows of teeth here. Spookily elongated mouth. So this is where we might do some of the yellow early, like in the eyes. Like I reckon if I was to hollow these out with white, then come back in with that very, very bright yellow. Yeah, if we come back and we filled those eyes with bright yellow. We could do that. We could probably dry brush a yellow on and then respray again with the hex race, and that might bring it up even further. Nice thing is, like, you can obviously try and fail and try again and see what works, what doesn't work. Now I am gonna paint most of this in white because guts and stuff I'm be able to. Although to be honest, it's mostly going to be try and put some other colours in. Horse. If that had happened to that horse, this thing saturated in blood. I can try and paint the model if I wanted to, but let's be real, it wouldn't look good. Are you there, Jim? I've got you, mate. I can speak to you. I can see you. I can see you, buddy. Unless you're having problems, mate, but I can see you. Right, we can get rid of this cloth now for a little bit. One thing you don't see is the rider of this horse. I'm assuming he's done a runner. That's what most of us would do. I don't blame him. You know, he's left his horse behind, but I'm not sure. Not sure anyone can blame him. Okay. To refresh my stream on this end, to be honest. Yeah, so if I tilt him up to the camera, that's what we're currently at. I do think Nerdy Geezer's right. There was definitely a place for a yellow in there somewhere. Now I do have a yellow, but I'm not that happy with it. Yeah, I do. This actually comes with this mat. So if you get this mat, the Red Grass Grains paint mat, let me show you around it, Jim. So you get all sorts of things. You get like a metal. Hang on, I've just knocked a pot of paint on the floor. luckily it had the lid put down. Yeah, it's got loads of little like helpful things on it, like base sizing. So if you've never not sized base, you just measure it up against this. It's even got a suggestion for doing like, you know, glazing, washing, like 1 part paint, 2 parts water, things like that. Little guides on it. It came with the colour wheel as well, so you stick that on there. So that's sometimes useful, like just to know which colours would complement each other, things like that. It's got a few little nice little things on it, and it's wipe clean, so once you've done your painting, you can clean it quite easily. So yeah, it's quite a nice little mat, you know. I did have the GW rubber one, but I found that one just got super grotty over time and just wasn't very nice. So, yeah, I picked this one up. Where's Chef? I'm assuming Chef is watching Arsenal, mate. I assume that's what Chef is doing. There's a lot of football on tonight, so that is what my guess that Chef is doing. But yeah, the colour wheel is quite handy. I've actually got, this is a sticker, so this comes with the mat and you stick the sticker on, but I have got another one. I think came with the wet palette, to be honest. I don't actually want to mess with the miniature too much. I'm quite happy with the miniature. Like the actual monster. Yes, it is. It's there is a lot of football on tonight, mate. So for the footy people out there, you know, I'm not going to say I'm not one of them, but I'm happy to have it on. This is one of those games where Liverpool literally just scored again. So there we go. It's 2-0 to Liverpool. So probably park the bus on this one now and crack on. I'm going to dump a bunch of white into his mouth. I want to try this yellow in there. Back of his throat there, and the same with his eyes. Okay with this being essy and glowy, that's kind of the point. So yeah, we've got like, if I can get this for you, I'm trying to find the best place for the light really, but you get the idea. Hopefully you get the idea. And yeah, what you could do, maybe in places like the rib cage and stuff, probably put some of this yellow in. Almost like reverse highlighting, isn't it? It's like in the crevices and the creases, actually want it to be brighter and brighter. It's almost like, you know, all the ghostly energies coming from well within inside miniature. Like even when you can see his rib cage, like actually make that the brightest point, the insides. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. I'm doing a light wash. So I'm almost in my head, like inside of him is a big ball of ghostly energy, and that's animating him. So the further out from the model I get, the darker the model actually is. That makes sense? I'm kind of doing it in reverse. So in the recesses, I'm doing the. That's narratively what's going on in my head. Just so if you want to know what's going on in my head, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah, maybe that's what it is, Lee. Maybe it's I'm trying to recreate the real Ghostbusters. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. That's probably maybe that's where it's coming from in my head, but. Yeah, I'm definitely winging it at this point, but kind of okay with that. Even with the claws, I'm kind of thinking, would energy be showing through those because they're a thinner part of the body almost? But like I say, these are all I'm definitely gonna bloody all of these up anyway, so it just ripped through this horse. But great shout, Lee. I have to credit you on the yellow, mate. It's a great shout. I actually think the yellow really helps bring the two greens together as well. So, yeah, I'll claim it was my idea, of course, but yeah, it's looking way no, it looks really really, I guess the word is popping, but everyone hates using the word popping, but it is, so I'm going to use it because it looks a lot better than what I first envisioned for it. So okay. Yeah, I think he's looking pretty darn good. More and more happy with it. It's actually having an effect as well because it's lightening up the black. The black was really dark, and now because I've kind of gone in with the green and then just highlighted it up a bit, it's looking more like a really nasty dark green now, so it looks a lot better. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'm happy with that. I guess I haven't said that 17 times already. Let's have a little drink. Hydrate. Okay, so thanks, mate. Yeah, it looks way better than when it started. I can bring it in nice and close. See if I can give you a nice close up of the face and stuff. Yeah, it's come out pretty good, isn't it? I think there's even some little adjustments that we can still do. So let's, I guess, paint the horse. Let's go back to the horse. I'm not going to worry too much about the horse because I don't want to go too crazy, because then your focus will be on the horse and on the miniature, and I want all the focus to be on the miniature. So I'm probably keep it fairly boring. So the saddle, we're just going to do a black saddle. We're going to do, because frankly, in a second, I'm going to make this thing look like an absolute carnage. Oh yeah, we're gonna have blood, mate. We're gonna crack out the technical blood paints. This thing is gonna look. Oh, there will be blood. Ooh, yes. I don't need to focus too much. What I want to do now, I want to add some colours. I don't want to go too. I would like some organy type colours. So we're going to have a bit of a purple in there. We're going to have we don't need to worry too much about the red, but we're going to go with the green as well. You've got like some sort of intestine bits around here which will count. Huh? Simple. And some purpley bits in here as well, like maybe whatever the hell that is. That's going to get some purple around here. And on the skin. Right. I need to let that dry for a minute. I'm going to grab some skeleton bone. We'll do the claws. We'll let that stomach area dry and then we'll come back to it. I'll be finding out whether my Blood for the Blood God paint has dried up or not over time. What do we reckon? Dried up or not dried up? This might end up being sort of like the perfect model for this type of stream, because honestly I think I will get done fairly quick, but it's not going to take too long to get this into a state where I'm quite happy with it. That horse has seen better days, mate. Yes, it is in dire straits. Not the band. To catch the teeth with, don't look entirely, a bit of bone on the teeth. I do want them to look like teeth still. I'm okay with them having that sort of green glow, but they need to look like they could still pawn through. Sorry. Let's grab a little lead belcher because there's a couple of little buckles and things on this horse, so catch them. So I'm not going crazy. Just gonna do the odd bit here and there. What I want to do is, in a minute, I am going to cover the basing in mud, because I'd like that to dry, because the last thing I want to do is also a green highlight on the ground beneath, just round where this horse is. It also shows like there's a bit of a light coming down on that as well. I can't do that obviously until I base the miniature, so And also, like a blood. I mean, there's just going to be blood here as well, like actually splattering onto the floor. So yeah. Yeah, well, and unfortunately, I have eaten horse before. I had it in France, not knowing I was a child. After we sort of read the menu properly, after quite a few of us kids had eaten, turned out we'd all eaten horse burger. So, yes. Not ideal, but that is what happened. Okay, so we're not far off. I am going to give the horse again a little dry brush for the same reason I did it with the other miniature, the monster, is that I can then use the green to because not sort of spreading enough just around this area. Sort of like. There you go. Use a bit of the residual paint left in the airbrush there just to highlight that area a bit better. So, oh, crikey, I look away from the game and Brighton have scored 1 goal and Liverpool scored another goal. So 3-1 to Liverpool. Nice. Okay, right, let's find out. Moment of truth. Is blood from the blood god wet or dry? The lid feels like it's been down fairly tight. I'm going to give it a shake first and then we'll have the surprise. Hopefully not harvesting. Yeah, well, let's find out, shall we? Oh, it's looking bloody. Yeah, what I'm talking about. Right, let's get some blood for the blood god in here then. Oh yeah, it's got some good goop to it as well. Oh nice. Let's just fucking go for it. They say less is more, but I think more is more. Yeah, well, this is probably a really good point. Reality is, you should probably do this after you've varnished the miniature, because obviously any matte varnish I put down is going to dull the gore down. But what I will probably do is, after I do varnish this miniature, I will come back in and very lightly just brush over the bloodied areas, just to give them their yeah. You're absolutely right. If I hit this with a matte varnish, of course, that is gonna absolutely knacker any wet look that this has. Will be gone. So, but that's okay. We're doing this for the shits and giggles of it. So. I'm not being careful, I'm just lavering this on and trying to trickle it down in places where, you know, you run. To be frank, this horse has been absolutely annihilated, so it would just be blood everywhere, so. So I'm now going to go for more of a on these. What I'm going to try and do is actually like poke up into the nails so it looks like it's gone into something. I'm going to use the brush as like that, so it's like I've almost like pushed the nail into the brush rather than try and paint the nail like it's that. I don't know if it works, but that's why I'm doing it. You don't want it to look you don't want to look like you've painted his nails, essentially. You want it to look uniform. And then the whole bottom of his jaw. We're gonna say that he's yeah. So we're kind of I'll try and get you a better shot. Try and get you a better shot. Let me just clean this off my brush. I don't know about the mouth. I've just done the mouth. I don't know about the mouth. I'm going to be honest. But if we go down to where the horse is now. Trying not to go too crazy. Oh, Brighton have scored again, 2-3, or it's going to be a tight 5 minutes. Yeah, I'm not going to go too bonkers. That's my worry. Too bonkers might be too. We're going to probably hold it there for a minute. Right, I did want to cover the basins. I'm going to do that now. With the mud. Problem with this is it's going to make it very difficult to hold. So. We'll stick it on a cloth. I'm going to just liberally cover yeah, with the mouth lead, we'll see. Because obviously, if it took a big chunk, if it did bite something, it would have a mouthful of blood. But also quite liked it just being glowing, as if like it doesn't relate. The monster itself doesn't need to rely on its mouth. I'm just using this textured paint here to just cover the base. It probably won't be dry time for me to use what I want, so I'll have to do that bit off stream. Maybe he hasn't taken a mouthful yet, exactly. To get more paint on my hand, I think, than on the miniature. I don't mind. I'm going to flick some of the mud up onto the horse as well, because obviously if it was crashing around in the ground, it would be mud and it's on it, so kind of not be too careful about flicking the mud up. Oh shit, okay, that's happened. I just broke the miniature, everybody. That's okay. I know that that's broken. Not broken, that is where the join is, so actually not as bad as it looks. Maybe that is where the join was, so I put a bit of pressure on that join so I can re-glue back at that join, so don't worry. Maybe not the result I wanted right this second, but it means I can get to this bit a bit easier, and this will force me to do the thing I need to do, which is pin the miniature, so don't worry. I need to drill a little hole in there, drill a little hole in the other end, put a small piece of metal in there and pin, because that was inevitably going to happen. Don't panic. Don't panic. That was because I was pushing down on it whilst I was trying to do the base. Don't do that. Don't push down your miniature. Right. Just focus this in again. Problem is, I'm going to struggle to now stick that back whilst that base is soaking wet. So I think maybe that is potentially a good place to end. Although it feels like a bad place to end, it's not bad because once this dries, I can reattach him at the arm, which will be okay. So he'll reattach back on there. Once I drill a hole, he's already got a hole here. I think I may have tried to pin him before, but he already has a hole here. So I can just accentuate that hole slightly, drill another small hole into there, and then reattach his hand like that, and he'll be okay, folks. Yeah, exactly. I use I've got these things, so I have little rods, these little tiny rods, so I can just cut a tiny piece off and then rod either end, and then yeah, but safety pins work as well. These are a bit thinner than safety pins, so a little bit easier. Safety pins are actually quite thick at this size, so yeah, I use this kind of stuff. So yes, that's what we'll do. Right, so I'm not going to continue. I'm going to stop there because I do want to fix it, and I do want to wait for the base to dry so I can dry brush the base and then use the same green. But hopefully, just before I broke it, you all got an idea of what it's looking like. So I may do something about the mouth. I haven't gone too, the mouth isn't too crazy, so I may do something about the mouth. Just retouch the teeth maybe. Some of the claws are a little bit too nail varnishy. They look like they might have been nail varnish, so I might just scratch them up a little bit maybe. But yeah. But yeah, that looks that's looking perfectly fine. Then obviously, just before I broke the base, we did have our hand coming down and tearing apart. Those claws look way better than those claws. You know what I mean? But I don't know if it's still wet enough for me to move it. I may need to just fix those a little bit. Shouldn't be hard to do. But yeah, so there we go. So there's the guts of our horse everywhere. Obviously I can do something interesting with the ground. I can put some grass tufts in there. I'm going to dry brush it, and then I'm going to hit it with some of the green as well, so some of the glow, especially like in this area of the base, have that glow continue to go down to the ground. Yeah, we're not a million miles away from that being finished. So unfortunately I can't show you the miniature as it was unless I do some magic with my hands and just hold it in place, but I'm more worried about getting brown on it now. But yeah, we did have it like before I decided to snap him at the wrist, we did have him like that. There we go. That is tonight's efforts, and we will come back to this when it's all dried. Maybe we'll come back to it tomorrow night and finish it off. All right, so thank you very much for hanging out. Yeah, I'll be back maybe tomorrow for a quick 1 hour job, because I'd like to get this miniature finished so I can say that was my Halloween paint job. So I appreciate anyone that hangs out. Thanks for dropping into the chats and stuff, and yeah, I'll speak to you all later on. All right, cheers all, bye bye.